A true champion can adapt to anything. Floyd Mayweather Jr. Hey everyone. This is a response to Sandman's recent Purge videos. Links to these videos are in the description below. In his videos, Sandman expressed his concern about the Purge in our community. It appears his response is to double down on using our community's identifying acronym, even though it's been targeted as hate speech by the Southern Poverty Law Center and others. As I've outlined in my March 2nd, 2018 video, Ghosting My Own Way, the Southern Poverty Law Center is a YouTube trusted flagger. YouTube's partnership with this witch-hunting ideologue proves their willingness to discriminate against anyone who speaks out against leftist bigotry. It also inadvertently admits YouTube's mission statement is not only a lie, it's potentially false advertisement. YouTube's mission statement states, "We believe people should be able to speak freely, share opinions, foster open dialogue, and that creative freedom leads to new voices, formats, and possibilities. We believe everyone should have easy, open access to information and that video is a powerful force for education, building understanding, and documenting world events, big and small. We believe everyone should have a chance to be discovered, build a business, and succeed on their own terms, and that people, not gatekeepers, such as YouTube and other big tech, decide what's popular. We believe everyone should be able to find communities of support, break down barriers, transcend borders, and come together around shared interests and passions." Yet, in early October 2018, Breitbart reports, an 85-page briefing entitled "The Good Censor," exclusively leaked to Breitbart News from within Google, reveals that government requests for Google to censor content have nearly tripled since 2016. Pages 66 through 73 of the briefing admits that tech platforms including Google, Facebook, and Twitter underwent a shift toward censorship over the last few years. The briefing concludes that Google will have to continue its move toward censorship if it wishes to appease national governments and continue its global expansion. It cites appeasing advertisers as a justification for censorship. Responding to the leak, an official Google source said the document should be considered internal research and not an official company position. One aspect of the Good Censor document that troubles me is the part where Google justifies censoring content in order to appease advertisers. As followers of my content should already know, I often state, liars always lie. Back in August 2018, I demonstrated that Google and YouTube are demonstratively lying about attempting to appease advertisers through censorship. I did this in a video entitled, "Was the Adpocalypse a Lie?" A link to that video is in the description below. In that video, I debunk the commonly accepted adpocalypse narrative. You see, YouTube's censorship and demonetization campaign against content creators wasn't in response to advertisers complaining. It was because Google reached out to advertisers and requested they complain to provide an excuse to censor content. Let me say that another way. Google ad executives reached out to advertisers and requested they complain about video content and content creators in order to demonetize and deplatform targeted content creators. This was confirmed by Breitbart months ago. Simply put, according to Breitbart, the Adpocalypse was a fraudulent AstroTurf campaign created by Google to discriminate against and defraud content creators by wrongfully denying them ad revenue, using hate speech as an excuse. To be clear, Google and YouTube are blaming advertisers for a problem they themselves created. Let's discuss Google's response to the Good Censor document, where Google claimed censorship was not its official position. Well, what is Google's official position on censorship? Digital News Daily tells us in its November 1st, 2018 report, which states in pertinent part, Prager University has no valid grounds to sue Google's YouTube for allegedly discriminating against conservative video clips, the company argues in new court papers. The company argues that the First Amendment prohibits the government from censoring speech, but doesn't prevent Google from deciding how to treat content posted to its platform. What's more, Google writes, any attempt to subject non-governmental platforms like Google to the First Amendment would result in disastrous practical consequences. If they are bound by the same First Amendment rules that apply to the government, YouTube and other service providers would lose much of their ability to protect their users against offensive or objectionable content. Objectionable to who? Left-wing ideologues? Disastrous how? By debunking false narratives promoted by leftist big tech companies and their echo chamber? Maybe if someone is offended by certain content, they should be adult enough to choose to avoid it. This federal court filing in response to the PragerU lawsuit openly admits the Good Censor document is Google's and YouTube's official policy. Like I said, liars always lie. Anyone who still thinks Google and YouTube are acting in good faith and honest is a complete idiot. Spoiler alert, this also means that Google, by committing to free speech in its mission statement, then defrauding content creators of ad revenue by telling its advertisers to complain, is not only false advertising free speech, but it's also fraud by virtue of interfering with the business relationship between content creators and the advertisers themselves. This is because it is the advertisers' dollars that actually pay the content creators. YouTube merely acts as a pass-through agent, skimming profits off the top. Both of these are reasonably valid reasons to sue them. Just saying. Now, I could do a deeper dive into how one might successfully sue Google and YouTube into the Stone Ages, but that's the subject for another video. More importantly, the information I just provided is enough for any competent attorney who isn't a cuck to connect the dots and to file a successful federal class action suit against YouTube, Google, and Alphabet on behalf of content creators. I will say this though, any attorney attempting this better be ready to appeal to the US Supreme Court. But the good news is, by the time the lawsuit gets there, Ginsburg will probably be replaced. However, I digress. This is supposed to be a response to Sandman's video, so maybe I should actually do that. I need to say a few things first. I have a great deal of respect for Sandman and his content. While he wasn't the first MGTOW channel I discovered, his videos did help me on my journey, and his older videos are well worth the watch. Further, let me state my view on MGTOW. To be a MGTOW man, generally speaking, there are 3 simple pillars to the philosophy. Number 1, actively avoid marriage to a woman. Number 2, actively avoid relationships that could be considered common law marriage to a woman. Number 3, avoid marriage through a concept known as ghosting. That's it. Now, let's talk about some controversies within the MGTOW community, mainly whether or not a person can actually be a MGTOW. Some believe that you might not be a MGTOW if any of the following apply. If you're under 18 years old and live in a place where the law doesn't allow people of your age to legally marry. If you're not what a woman, even a low sexual marketplace value woman, would consider marriage material. If you're gay and have never had any attraction to women. If you're trying to be a woman, i.e. transgender, trap, etc. To be clear, I'm not saying these people cannot be MGTOW. I'm saying it's debatable. Now, why is this relevant? It's because of the 3rd pillar of the MGTOW philosophy, the ghosting part. Ghosting is properly defined by the Urban Dictionary as when a person cuts off all communication with their friends or the person they're dating, with 0 warning or notice beforehand. You'll see most of them avoiding friends' phone calls, social media, and avoiding them in public. I haven't seen Tom in 3 months. I think he may be ghosting me. The important takeaway is avoiding contact with women who may want to marry them or enter a romantic relationship with them that may evolve into marriage. Further, some, myself included, also advocate ghosting in such a way as to minimize others' knowledge that they're MGTOW or MGTOW friendly. One way they ghost is by refusing to dox themselves either online or in real life. This is because they get shamed and targeted by those indoctrinated into a feminized view of relationships and marriage. Now, I appreciate that some viewers are saying, DDJ, this is all well and good, but what does this have to do with Sandman's purge videos? And my answer is everything. You see, I conducted a YouTube search of MGTOW channels and found that there are a massive number of channels with content creators who have the MGTOW acronym in their online name or on their channels. They even prominently display the MGTOW symbol on their channel and use it in the titles and thumbnails of their videos. These content creators who prominently display the MGTOW logo or brand their channels with the MGTOW name are ghosting about as well as a person wearing a high-vis burqa trying to be a ninja. Even worse, These high-intellect colostomy bags that show their faces often look like Bigfoot trying to blend in on a commuter train. Now, I'm not saying that showing your face in your videos is always bad. I'm saying don't do it in a way that paints a target on your head like these idiots. I also found that these super cyan, out and proud special needs ghost tards are often divided into 4 categories. The Spurg MGTOW. These are your temper tantrum MGTOW, your never-ending MGTOW, and your edgy McEdgelord MGTOW. Your keyboard commando MGTOW. These are your try-hard MGTOW and your online badass MGTOW and your hashtag thug life MGTOW. Then you have your PUA MGTOW. These are your pickup artist MGTOW. These are your Viagra shill MGTOW, your dating coach MGTOW, and your metrosexual hipster beard ambiguously gay MGTOW. Then finally, you have your con artist MGTOW. These are your Bitcoin scam MGTOW, your cam whore trap MGTOW, and your cult scammer MGTOW is war types of MGTOW. Now, these content creators, to use the term very loosely, often have the following things in common. They have no original content. They merely plagiarize other content creators. Their channels are echo chambers and surrounded by sycophants. They often have less than 1,000 subs. However, note, ambiguously gay PUA Viagra shills sometimes have more. Now, when called out, they transform into hashtag #ReToMGTOW and they target anybody who criticizes them in any way. Even worse, these try-hard colostomy bags bring so much negative attention to the community that they turn all content creators into targets. It's like they stepped in shit and walked into an enclosed room, and now the whole room smells of their mistake. These colostomy bags are so desperate to control the MGTOW brand for their own financial gain, they tried to drive off those of us who are actually trying to help men off the internet. In the last year, we've seen them do everything from trying to scam MGTOW using Bitcoin scams, try to turn MGTOW into a tribal cult, attempt to foment a MGTOW civil war, and even false flag other MGTOW channels while blaming others for their crimes. And the sad part is that Team Colostomy Bag is so starved for attention, they get dopamine hits off of the negative attention their content attracts, regardless of how many other content creators suffer as a result. They either don't realize the damage they're doing, or they don't care. So what is the solution? Well, it's the same as always. We ghost. I have a great deal of respect for Sandman and others who use the MGTOW label. I also have a great deal of respect for those creators who show their face, like Terrence Pop and Human. But I don't think we should protect the MGTOW acronym as a brand. Thanks to idiots who created MGTOW channels focused on plagiarism, word-vomiting vitriol, and other lunacy, the acronym is now poisoned. As a result, our community is now wrongfully considered a hate group by very powerful enemies. I suggest that we adapt by starting to use coded language and imagery to avoid censorship and discrimination. This is not a new concept. Different professions have industry-specific lingo and word definitions specific to their industry. Historically, this has also been true of successful criminals and communities targeted for discrimination. Even early Christians used coded language and imagery to survive pagan witch hunts. I suggest we do the same. This isn't just for MGTOW, but all content creators who create commentary critical of leftist bigotry. Further, I suggest we diversify and expand our distribution platforms. If we are only on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, we're living on borrowed time. I post videos on Brighteon, BitChute, and link my content on Minds and Gab. I even created a website landing page where people can contact me directly and link to both my sponsor and my other content channels at misandrytoday.com. If they haven't already, content creators should do something similar, because if they don't take ownership of their distribution, they're asking to be censored. And those who don't adapt and start ghosting this witch hunt will eventually be casualties of it. The algorithm can't discriminate against and censor what it cannot perceive. Further, creators like Human, Sunrise Hoodie, Turd Flinging Monkey, and others who don't rely upon the MGTOW label have demonstrated that viewers will continue to find our content and knowledge. Our channels will not only survive, but they will continue to grow. In closing, every man should be respected for going his own way. While I respect Sandman and others who choose to continue to use the MGTOW label, I disagree with their decisions for the reasons outlined herein. And to the special needs colostomy bag plagiaristic potatoes that I've called out in this video, continue drawing fire to yourselves. it makes it easier for me to ghost. I'm DDJ, and this has been your dose of misandry today.